I was at the same point about 6 or 7 years ago, the same point like you, where I was seeking for information or someone who could signpost me to opportunities to either relocate or go out and visit other countries, And it was unfortunate that I didn't find so many people. And that is why I thought, sharing my experience might help someone to either desire or see where to find information from. And I believe that the information that I have been sharing and have received so many messages on Facebook and even direct messages for those who have my phone contacts or even email, letting me know how much people appreciate the information that I am sharing. The reason I do what I do is because I believe that I have a calling to inspire people to hope. I am an ambassador of hope, a well of inspiration. That is what God has called me to do. I work with people who have been through stuff, deep stuff, who have hit rock bottom, who are unwell, who feel stuck, and who feel like situations are working against them. I believe that God has called me to inspire you and many others to hope and know that there is hope in God. We are all children of God, and God has a good plan for each one of us. And as I said last time, that God has a plan for me, a plan for you, and it is a plan for welfare and not for evil. And God loves me. God loves you more than you ever think, more than you dream, more than you ever dreamed, more than you ever imagined. And He wants you and me to succeed. And I want you to look at the lilies of the valleys. And the Bible is very clear. They shine. I want you to look at the birds of the air. They do not plant. And yet, none, not even one of them, falls down because they are hungry. Our Father provides for them. And I said about one inspiration that I got from one of my mentors, that every blade of grass has an angel whispering to it, grow, grow, grow. And if it is true, God has assigned an angel to every blade of grass, how about me and you, His children? We are children of God. We are kings who are led by a mighty king. And so God has a good plan for us. Please remember, this is an inspirational channel. We share experiences, and that is why we called it Lydia She Inspires All. I am not a legal advisor. I'm not an immigration lawyer. Please check a disclaimer down here. If you do need legal support, please reach out to your lawyer, an immigration lawyer. Today, I have a guest. Her name is Favor. She is my firstborn daughter. She loves YouTube, and so we decided to do this together. And when Favor was coming to this country, she was about 17 years old, and she was in school. And I don't know whether she was excited. Favor, are you excited when you decided to come to the UK? She's saying, yeah. She doesn't talk much. She's saying, yeah. And in the last channel, I we were discussing the different things that you need to know, the very basic things that you need to know, but also an inspiration, why I do what I do, or why we do what we do as a family. And one of the reasons why is because we sought for a way and we couldn't find it. But I also went through the very basic things that you need to be aware of. And I challenged you, number one, to get a passport if you're thinking or dreaming of of traveling or even looking for a job in another country, not just UK, but other countries as well. You cannot travel if you do not have the travel document. And as I said, UK is a very small country. I'll be sharing about UK because it is where my family and I are. and I'll share quite a lot, and I'll invite other people to the channel to share their experiences. But also, I'm talking to one of the legal firms that is authorized, that has a license to help people to migrate, not just from Kenya but from other countries as well. And I will not disclose the name now, but I am quite hopeful that we can do a live video with them, so that we are able to share more, and maybe who to you can get support from. As I said again, please remember, information is power. So if you can share this information or this video with other people, please do so. And then may I also ask for a favor for those who are returning? Please return with your friends, and know that we appreciate you so much for returning again and again to our channel. But for those who are coming, yes, feel welcome. This is a community where we inspire people to hope, where we encourage each other, where we push each other to see and open each other's eyes to see the opportunities that God has for us. Please do subscribe. So do comment, interact with us, ask questions. If you have any specific questions, ask them. The comment button is down here. Please do comment, ask questions, turn on the notification button, so that every week, because we'll be doing at least 2 videos every week, so that then you're able to know when we are online. Now, higher. The last time when we talked, I told you that my drive to come to the UK was it's because I really wanted to move on, and I wanted to create a new life for myself, but also for my children, but also explore the world, because I had traveled quite a bit with my job. And if you remember well, I told you we had a massive restructuring in the organization. Those who are working with me might remember the blue emails from our CEO or from our country director informing us of this massive restructuring. And it wasn't going to spare a few of us, to be honest, like some of us who have majored in sociology and general community development. They really wanted people who have skill sets in a technical area, and especially sitting at the national office where I was sitting at that time. And for the first time since I joined the organization, I remember getting a 6 months contract. And when I received it, I just looked at it and I was like, God, what am I going to do with in 6 months to turn my life around? And I was very distressed. And I remember going to the operations director then, who was my mentor, but also my friend. And I looked at him and I asked him, can't the organization pity me because I am a widow? This is my only source of livelihood. And I knew he was in a place of authority, but it was very clear where the organization was heading. And he looked at me, because I really cried that day, if you'd remember. And he looked at me, he told me to look for opportunities outside of the organization. And he would support me. And of course, he was one of my referees, so he would support that. And I remember telling him, you know what, so and so, the organization will not sack me because I am not sackable. That's not an English word. But I told him, this organization cannot sack me. I have served, and I know that it is a calling for me to be here. Instead, I will resign myself willingly to either go and do business or to transit to another place. And he looked at me and he prayed with me. And within no time, if you remember in the last video, I already had a passport for my children. I didn't know where we were to travel, but I just decided before I leave the organization, maybe it would be great for me to travel with my children. And the same month of December, I got an invitation from my friends from Finland to travel and support fundraising in their country. That was in December. In January, of course, after I got the passports for the children, one of my colleagues who was working here in the UK office came to monitor one of the projects that was funded by the UK government in Turkana. My colleagues from Turkana, hi. So and I was very upset because the same operations director had signed and approved a trip without my knowledge. And I thought this white girl would come and complicate things for us during the donor visit. And it was a very sensitive project. We were rehabilitating irrigation schemes in Turkana. And I was very upset. But then I didn't know what else to do. Of course, the lady came and we flew to Turkana. It was a very intense trip with the DFID Nairobi at that time. And during the trip, I remember mentioning to her, so and so, Green Hug, that was her name. My contract will be coming to an end in March. Just the same time, this project will be coming to an end. That the cycle of the government ends in March. But I know this project so well, and I feel it is my responsibility to close it well. So whether I'll be involved in my organization at that time, World Vision Kenya at that time, or not, I'll make sure that this project is closed well. And you have all the reports, including the audit reports and the annual reports and the project closure reports. And she looked at me and she asked me, where are you going? You're such a dedicated person, Lydia. I told her, we're going through a restructuring. So many things will change. It is not just me. It's so many people that might lose their job through the restructuring. And she just told me, you know what, just send your CV and we see whether might be opportunities in the UK. And I looked at myself. I was like, no, that is not my level. Please, so and so, that's not my level. I didn't tell her, but there was that feeling of I'm not enough. I am not meant to be at that level. She was calling me for a regional position at that time to manage the Southern Africa countries. And I felt, me? No. In fact, if the organization would have been requested to select someone to join my current employer for that position, they wouldn't have chosen me. I mean, I was down there. Yes, I was working at the national office, but I was down there. And she left the country, and we also left. We came back to Nairobi, and I remember in March I talked to the operations director again because I knew I didn't have a contract to travel to Finland, and I requested him to allow me to travel, although I will not be an employee of the organization. And maybe I'm repeating myself in the previous video, but I told him, I know I will not be an employee, but the donor office or my friends, my colleagues in Finland are willing to sponsor me, and they have also sponsored my children. And I also remember talking to my boss, and my boss was quite supportive. He said, it could be a good opportunity and exposure for your children. Go for it. And the operations director did not respond in 2 or 3 days. And later he came back to me and he told me, Lydia, I know I have not responded, but I wanted to confirm 2 things. One, that the organization, World Vision, then will pay for your ticket, but also that your contract has been extended so that you're not traveling as you're traveling as an employee. And I was so happy. And he just looked at me and he told me, the CEO or the country director is very supportive of what you're doing. You are like an ambassador for us to very many donor offices. And so this is an important mission. It is an important trip for you. Please go for it. And they gave me their blessings. And I remember I traveled to Finland with the children. And I said how I felt that was a trip, a divine trip. And there are a few people who asked me, Lydia, you went away with your children and came back to Kenya? And I said, Come on, I went for a work trip. There's no way I would have gone under. And I returned back to work. And when I got back, the first thing that I got was an email from the same lady from the UK. And because she had told me to send my CV and I didn't because I felt not enough. Anyway, and she asked me, it was the first email that I read, Lydia, and I thought she was asking the reports anyway. So she said, Lydia, I want you to, I want to check if you're still searching for a job, and if yes, please, can you send your CV or let me know if you have thought otherwise. And I responded to her. I told her I'm still seeking for a job, and yeah, and I sent the CV to her, but still feeling why do I need to? It's just to fill the gap. Anyway, I did, and within a week, the UK the HR got back to me and asked me to submit an application, but also a cover letter and my application, my a CV, and there's a template that we usually send for pre-checks. And I did that. So I submitted my application through the normal process and my CV and everything. And after 2 weeks again, I got an invitation for the interviews. And this time there was a detailed pre-check document that I was supposed to submit. I called the operations director again and I told him, he was my mentor, but he was also one of the referees. I told him, I want to see you today. And if I have to come to your home, he was living in Karen then. If I have to come to your home, I will come. But I have to see you today. And he asked me, Lydia, what's wrong? I told him I have to see you today. It was on a Saturday. And I went, it was raining that day, but I drove to Karen and we met in a hotel and I showed him the email. I told him, see, I told you, and you encouraged me to submit my application. Now here we are. They have sent me all these questions to respond to. And I think it's just a formality. They will not take me. And he looked at me and he told me, Lydia, I want you to fill that pre-check questionnaire tonight and send it to me. Okay? And I looked at him. I was like, okay, all right. And in my heart, I was like, he's my boss. He's very senior in our organization. Do I disobey him or do I go for it? But there was this thing that kept reminding me, Lydia, remember, you prayed about this, you journaled, and you left it to God. What if this is one of the ways that God is using to take you to another country? And I remember that night I didn't sleep. I sleep until I finished the questionnaire. And the following day, I had one of my colleagues helping me and supporting me to edit down and ensure all relevant information is there. And after I finished, I told him I have finished and I submitted. After 1 week, I was invited for the formal interview. I'll never forget. It was a 4 hours interview. And my boss didn't know that I was doing an interview. So we tricked him with my colleague. Bless her. Oh. And I told my colleague, I'm doing this interview, but make sure that my boss doesn't know. So I went to another office and I was there for 4 hours. He tried asking where I was, and my colleague said, Lydia is dealing with a donor office in the UK, which was of course true. And he allowed me to do I did the interview. 4 hours. I was grilled. I did the written, I did the oral, I did of course the presentation, and yeah, I must thank God for very supportive people who are there and who kept encouraging me. I remember one of my colleagues, his name is Kevin. I'll mention him. I remember Kevin sitting me down at some point that month, and he told me, the other way you're pushed to the edge. He said, "Me, Lydia, by the way, your time is over in this office. I think you should be seeking for a position in either Finland or another donor office. And he kept reminding me. And I remember when I told him I'm doing this interview, he came over, he prayed with me. He told me, Lydia, I'm standing with you. If you need any support, if you need any guidance, come to me. And Kevin walked with me. Another lady says, she helped me think through the presentation. So if you're doing an interview, don't think that it is wrong to ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help from the people who know that field. Ask for help from recruiters. Ask for help from your mentors. I talked to these people and they helped me. They helped me organize my presentation. They helped me think through what to say. And I made a presentation before SES, I remember. And she told me, don't say that, say this. Don't say that, say this. She was what? She was a PA for a very senior person in our organization at that time. So she knew. And so don't shy away. I've also helped people because I recruit. I manage staff, so I recruit. Like right now, I am recruiting. And when people reach out to me for tips, I offer it. I offer it freely. This is how you prepare for an interview. This is what you to say, and this is not what to say. This is my expectation when I'm interviewing a candidate. And I'm so glad that so many have positive responses. One of them was my colleague, and she got a very high position in one of the organizations that wanted to poach me. I told them there's this person, and I prepared and I helped her to prepare, and she got it. Anyways, as long story short, we did the interviews, and within another 2 days, I remember I was in the office. And my current boss here called me. It was that when you're expecting and waiting and you've been through 4 levels of interview, because mine was like 4 levels of interviews. And my heart was just beating that week when they had told me that they would call me and they were not calling me. But later she called me. I remember I was in the office and she said, do you have time to talk? I said, yes. We had a Skype, and she informed me, that yes, we've offered you the job. There were people who were praying for me at that time. My pastor, Pastor Mary, who is my friend. I remember going to her and I called her. I told her, Mary, it is positive. I have the job, and I still can't believe it. I went to the operations director's office then, and I told them, you people will not believe, but I just got this call from UK office, and it is positive. I've been offered the position. They rejoiced with me. They cried with me. They were so happy for me. They prayed for me, and it was a time for celebration. And of course, I later informed my boss, and I told him I would be leaving World Vision in a few months or a month from then. And he asked me why. Of course, he was not aware that I was doing my interviews. And I told him that I've been offered, and he looked at me like, Lydia, you going to the UK office? I said, yes, I have been offered this position. And so I don't want you to read a resignation letter, but I'll be sending it in due time. Now, before an employer hires people, international staff, because I've been an international staff, I'm no longer an international staff now, I'm a settled citizen. They have to do a market, kind of a labor assessment to be able to tell whether the skill sets that they need are in the country. And if they cannot find the skill sets in the country, then they are allowed to advertise a position outside. There could be positions you've seen advertised as nationals and others internationals. So I was in that category of international. So the organization that I work for here had a market assessment, and they couldn't find a person with the skill sets that I was bringing. 1, the experience, and 2, my background, and 3, the level of experience, especially, that I was bringing. And so that is why they were allowed to recruit. It is not all, if you're coming through a skilled worker route, as I said earlier, you have to demonstrate that you have the right skill sets. And if you've not watched that video, please watch it. It is down here. In the UK, there are certain organizations or agencies that are allowed to hire international staff for free. They do not charge you. And so I was in that category of the organizations that were allowed after the labor assessment to hire from outside because there is shortage within the UK market. So they are allowed to get people from outside. So my organization is among the organizations that are registered. And when we'll be doing the Zoom call or the Zoom recording, I will show you the organization, some of the organizations that are allowed to hire internationals. Number two, there are also other legal entities that are allowed to support that process, and they charge. So two things here. They are legal or legally registered organizations that do not charge. It is for free. They hire international staff as skilled workers, but there are also other legal entities that charge you a fee, maybe for consultation and to help you through the visa process. Why? Because the UK government the application process is through a third party. And so you have to make sure that you have the right documents and the right visa category. And that is why we have immigration lawyers who support that process. People think it is for free. It is not for free. And even for my organization, they had to seek legal advice from a lawyer. They paid for it. I did not pay even a single cent. If I was allowed to hire Favor from Malawi to bring her here through my organization, the organization that I work for, you'd hire her for free. But there are legally registered institutions or agencies that charge a legal fee. There are quite a number. If you're interested, I can link you up to them. And as I said in the introduction, I'll be seeking one of them to do a Zoom call, a free Zoom call, so that people are aware and so that people can know that, can know them. They are registered in Kenya if you're in Kenya, but they support people from everywhere. They are here in the UK and they support that process. I've attended their webinars. They are fantastic. Now, I talked about skilled labor and the shortage. There's a shortage. There is a labor shortage, and especially now. And in the past few months, there were a number of opportunities, either in the nurses, of course, from Kenya. There was an agreement, or there is an existing agreement, but people did not. I hear that so many people did not pass the exam. There are people, as I said, before you sit for that exam, if it is for a life-defining opportunity, seek help. And if you have to pay to be helped to sit for to go through and revise, seek for help. Seek for help from people who know. Like, I know a number of teachers here who help people to prepare for those exams. They will not tell you this is 1, 2, 3. And even for me, when I had to sit for my life in the UK exam, I sought for help from groups, from people, and people that I'll never meet anyway, to think through the questions, because this is a life-defining opportunity. Why? Again, because UK is a very small country. So we were talking about the labor, the shortage of workers. They were HGV drivers. There were people in the nursing, the social work area. I do not have the word is disappearing, but that included the nurses, the carers, and everyone that is in that space, in the social work space, and it is quite wide. There were others who were to be employed by farmers to do pottery, others in the butcheries, and so on. There are quite a number of categories. Did people know that there were those opportunities? No, not many. Why? Because people do not know where to look for that opportunity. And even if they know where to look for that opportunity, maybe they don't know how they can be helped or agencies that could help them. You see, and that is why I'm here to maybe enlighten you that there are, and you should seek. Those who seek find. Now, after the organization has, you've done the interviews and you're through, then they will have to seek for a certificate of sponsorship. We call it a CSO for you to process your visa. There is a certain number that is given by the Home Office here in the UK for you to put in the application. That number is mandatory. That certificate of sponsorship is mandatory. There is a number there which you have to put in the application, and it is also linked to the organization that you work for. And so after you have your sponsorship number, and even if you're coming in as the short term contract, like the ones that were offered by the government for 6 months or even a year, you still have to get that number, and it is given by the employer who is employing you. Okay? So after I got the number, I had to prepare the documents that were needed. That included my degree papers, a TB certificate for both myself and the TB for the girls as well, and get ready for the application process. Now, the application process, I will show you in the portal during the Zoom. It is a whole process that you have to be very sure of and how to go about it. And so one thing that I needed to say, the system has changed. There has been changes with the immigration laws, so a number of things have changed, including the tier that I came in through tier 2. That time there were tier 1, there was tier 1, I think there was tier 2 and ICT, there was up to tier 4, I think, of tier 5. And so preparing all the documents. Now, I almost made 2 major mistakes. Now, one of them, when I went to the portal, the government portal, it wasn't just a skilled worker that is there right now. There was the tier 2 general and the ICT. I chose the ICT and I started feeling. But then, God works in miraculous ways. I had a colleague who is my colleague. He is still here. We came the same time, the same flight, recruited the same time, and we were doing it together. I knew her that same month when we all got the offers. She was introduced to me by one of my friends. One of my colleagues within the organization. She was working for another office, not ours. So I didn't know her, she didn't know me. And we started the process together. And when we were filling the form, I asked her. So we started going. You remember I told you some of these things, if they are life defining, please ask for help. And so we started doing them through Zoom, through Skype. So I would ask, so what category have you selected? She told me tier 2 general. I told her, no, I've selected tier 2 ICT. And what now I know is that the category that I had selected that time, either I would have gone through, yes, but it would have limited me to 5 years here in the UK, no settlement option. And she told me, no, it is tier 2 general. And we called the UK office and they said, yes, it is not supposed to be tier 2. It is supposed to be It is supposed to be not tier 2 general. It is supposed to be tier 2. And so I had to redo the process again. And we went through the application process up to the end. And we sent the link here to the UK so that they could pay. It is an expensive process, getting a visa. It is not cheap, it is expensive. So, and I said the organizations that offer that if they are to hire you, they do it for free. So they paid for it. And the mistake number 2, now the UK uses most of the countries use a third party to do the visa process. And for Kenya, it is VSF. It is in Mudangari in Westlands. And so that is where you submit, after you submit the documents, you have to book an interview, to book a face-to-face interview there. And so I booked an interview there. Sorry if you see Favor doing this. She I will talk about her at another time. She doesn't sit for long. So but she is okay. Favor, are you enjoying this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we so I, by mistake, I selected Germany. I don't know how I did it. And in the end, I was like, okay, I had already submitted all the 3 applications through the government website. Now booking the interview, where did I book? And I couldn't sleep that night, I remember. And on Monday, first thing in the morning, when my friend Duncan was sending, I took my children to go and have their TB test, and I had to go and sort out this mess. So I went to VSF. I talked to the customer care, and I told them the mistake that I had done, and they unlocked the portal for me. Favor, do you want to go?
Okay.
Do you want to go?
What is it?
No, I have not finished yet.
What?
I am almost there.
What?
Now they unlocked the system for me, and I now I had to rebook again, and we rebooked for the face-to-face interviews, just going for the biometrics and the photos and so on. And we did it together with the children and my colleague, and finished. Now the organization paid a fast track. There are, I think, 3 ways, 2 or 3 ways. I'm not sure about now. I'm happy to check. But you can fast track your application. Either get it in 1 day, you pay quite a lot, or you can have it in 5 days. Fast tracked 5 days. Or you can wait for I think it is 14 days waiting. So we chose the fast tracked one to get it in 5 days. And then you get, after you register in the 2 portals, there is a notification. So after we submitted our documents, we got notifications for each application. Although I submitted all of the 3 for me, I submitted mine, for Favor, and for Deborah. I got 3 notifications saying your documents have been received. The documents have been received by the Home Office, not the Home Office, by the UK Embassy. And the following day, I remember we had a party in one of my friend's house, and we were waiting on the 3rd day. And I got an email in the morning. My friend might remember. And I had twin, and I checked, and it was Nairobi Visa Center. And I was asked to submit my a document that shows my degree was taught and assessed in English for me to meet the English threshold. And I read the email again. I called my friend who were doing the application together, and I asked her whether she had seen that email, and she checked. And I told her by the time I get home, because I was not at home, we had gone to party to say bye-bye. I wanted to have read that email, and we should know what to do, because we have 48 hours to submit this damn thing. I forwarded the same email to the UK office, Of course, they were 2 hours ahead that time. And HR got back to us. They said they will be in touch with NARIC, which was the body that was to certify our papers here. But unfortunately, it takes 10 days, 10 working days. And you see, we only have 48 hours. But the lady said later when we came, she told me, Lydia, I do not understand how we were able to get your feedback in a day. It has to be God. And I remember we prayed before I left my friend's house, and throughout we kept praying, God help us. And the other hitch that I had, all my degree certificates and my what do you call the slips that you get for after you do your exams, were all in with the immigration at that, with the embassy at that time. And I didn't know what to do. God works in miraculous ways, you know. I remember calling a friend who used to work for VSF, and I asked him what this exam was about, and he told me you have to get your you have to get a letter from the University of Nairobi then, and get your scan your degree certificate and send it together with that letter to UK and have it certified. Now, when I talked to the lady, the HR lady in the UK, she asked us by 2 p.m. UK time, we should have those documents so that we can have it before the following day. And so it was, you know, when you get to a place where you're like, what am I going to do? Because this thing will be rejected. I remember calling my friends, and I'll tag them here. I'll share this video with them. Anne, and I asked Anne, can you remember? Do you still know whether Esther works for University of Nairobi? She said, no, Esther left University of Nairobi. I told her, please get me her number because I have to talk to her urgently. She asked me, Lydia, what is going on? I told her, please send me that number. She sent Esther's number. Esther had left the University of Nairobi, but she supported me to make sure that I got my copies of my degree certified by the exam center in Chiromo. And by 1, I was at the registrar's office again, because I had tried to beg her to get me the letter. And she said, without certification of the copies that you have, I tried to explain and show the email that I have submitted all the documents to for the visa. And she said, no, you've got to get these documents certified. And so, long story short, I got the documents certified, I got the letter, scanned it, and sent it to the UK. The following day, before the 48 hours, we had the results. To God be the glory. God works in miraculous ways. And as that lady said, she doesn't know how it happened, but it happened so fast. But by the following day, we had our degrees, my degree certified together with my other colleague, certified that it has been taught and examined in English, and we submitted to the embassy, to High Commission, call it High Commission, HC Nairobi. We submitted this to HC, and by Monday we had by Thursday we had our visas offered. Yeah, and it was such a relief. It was approved. We got our visas. It was now a rush of giving away things, donating things, taking things to Shago, to upcountry, and preparing and going to schools to let the teachers know that I were to relocate, and my children would be picked by one of my friends. And within 3 days, I was on my way. The 1st of August, I was on the plane on my way to the UK. Together with my colleague, I left my children with a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Jane and Duncan. God bless you. I left them with my children for 2 months. And in September, my children joined me to live with me as my dependents. Remember, I said have to know the category that you're relocating, or that you're visiting, whether it is a visit or you're coming in as a dependent. So they came in as dependents, and we've been here for 5 years. This is the 6th year. We've settled. We thank God for the opportunities that He has given us. I have been, lifted. I have been promoted. I'm not in the same position that I was recruited. God has given has favored us in so many ways. It hasn't been easy. It's not easy settling in another country. That's a talk for another time, when I'll be sharing how life has been in the UK. It has ups and downs. But when I look at my blessings, naming them one by one, they are multiple. They are so many. I am so grateful to God that He offered me an opportunity on a silver platter. I did not pay even a single shilling. I did not even pay for the tickets. Everything was paid, including the renewals, which I will talk about later, because we had to renew our visas after 3 years. And then when you'll be renewing the last time, after 5 years, you make a decision whether you want to remain here or you want to go back to your country. So you cannot exceed 6 years. You have to go back to your country. And we've been here with my family, and Favor and Deborah, and the friend who we relocated with, my colleague. And this country has been good to us, really good to us, and we've learned a lot. There are culture shocks, but there are so many opportunities. Again, why am I saying this and why am I doing this? It is to share information and to help you know that there are opportunities out there, but you've got to seek for them. You've got to dream. You've got to prepare. You've got to find that information. You've got to ask God to connect you to destiny connectors, but you also to be aware that there are destiny connectors, and know that you know that those opportunities are there. Maybe you don't want to come to the UK. There are opportunities in Canada. There are opportunities in US. There are opportunities everywhere. Why? Because the earth belongs to God. The earth belongs to God. And God is the one who appoints where people should live. So ask God if it is His desire for you to relocate to another country, or for you to go and work in another country, or go visit another country, or go tour another country. And yes, I think that is what I wanted to share today. In my next video, I will go to the portal, to the UK government website, and show you where all this information is. Remember, please ask questions. Ask people who know. Ask people who have been through it. Sometimes it might cost you if you do not have a sponsor organization like I do, maybe for legal advice. Work hard and get that legal advice. It might reshape the rest of your life. It might be the pivot to pivot you to the next level. Are my children happy? I don't know. We will have a session with them where they will also share. But I know that God has also given them opportunities. And when I look back, because we are in the 1st of January, and it is a new year, I look back at how far we have come as a family together with my children. From the time I was born, going through my journey, my high school, marriage, becoming a widow, losing hope, depression, lack, anxiety, and navigating parenting, supporting Favor, who has autism, and all that, and the days when I had nothing. There are days, and I'll talk about it maybe at some point, where we were so broke that I used to sell groceries. around one of the slums. And I also share how far I have come. I have lived in not in very good places. Where my mom was living in one of the biggest slums in Nairobi, I've been there. So there's no pit where God cannot lift you from. There's no situation that God cannot help you to turn around. Just ask Him, seek Him, seek for opportunities, ask questions, and ask for help. And when God offers a way, go for it. Go for it. Don't ask how, go for it. Mine is to wish you a very blessed year. This is a year of harvest where we will all harvest good tidings every single day. New opportunities, new addresses, new countries of relocation, new celebrations. And when God blesses you, and when God relocates you to a new place in a new country or a new county or a new location, please do tag me around and tag me either on my social media handles and let me know. If you're not my follower on Facebook, I will leave a link down here, on Instagram down here, and where else. And you can check me on LinkedIn. God bless you and do have a very blessed year. This is me and my girl Favor, and we wish you a great day, a great evening. So please do remember to subscribe, follow us, and turn the notification button. God bless you for all your support. Bye bye.